I'm Hebe Tabachnik. I have been a curator, film producer, and consultant for festivals for the last 20 years. I'm originally from Argentina, but I've been living in the United States for the last 20 years. And I have been programming since I moved here, basically. I've been working for many festivals, including Sundance and Los Angeles Film Festival. And currently, I work for 3 festivals in the United States and 1 festival in Colombia. The festivals in the United States are very different from each other. I work for the Palm Springs Film Festival, which is located at the Coachella Valley. It's 2 hours from Los Angeles. It's a festival that has been running for over 30 years. And Palm Springs in particular has maybe 60% of whites and then 30% of Latinos. But interesting enough, the Coachella Valley is it has one of the largest populations of Hispanics in the United States. Hence, the type of films that I can show there, I would say sometimes they are wider, just because we're trying to reach out to that population that surrounds Palm Springs. Talking about Seattle, it's a little bit of a different kind of festival, but at the same time, it shares a lot of the characteristics. However, of course, Seattle is a larger city, and Seattle itself, that runs for 3 weeks between May and June, it is the largest film festival in the United States. We have 150,000 people attending the festival every year, with an additional 175,000 that go to the screening throughout the year because SIF has 5 screens in Seattle. And it's an audience festival. It's really first audience, maybe second industry. In the case of Cine Latino Minneapolis, it's a city that is around 3 million people, 10% of which are Latinos. And the Cine Latino Festival has been running for 8 years, and I am the artistic director of that festival. This year, because of COVID, we're going to have a virtual festival now coming up in October. We call this year festival Cine Latino en Casa, Cine Latino at Home. Minneapolis, interesting enough, it's culturally very, very rich. Minneapolis at some point had the largest number of theaters in the United States. So it's an audience that is always really looking for very new kind of films. In that respect, when I program for Cine Latino, I know that I can dare even more. Moving out of the United States and going to Cartagena, Colombia. Cartagena hasn't been competitive for the last couple of years. That means that every film is in itself, and that's kind of the philosophy, a winner, we call it. And audience-wise in Cartagena, it's very fascinating because it's younger audience. There is a lot of students and a lot of youth that attend the screenings. They are very eager to engage with the different filmmakers and the people, the creative side of the films. And I've seen also a lot of people flocking into their open air, free and open air screenings throughout the city. To summarize, 4 different festivals for very different kind of cities and populations. But one thing I have to say, for me, it always starts with a story, and a story that resonates with me. I like to make sure that I listen, and I am very aware of the reaction of the audience to the films that I program, but all of the films of the festival. And I always try to fine-tune to make sure that I bring to these different cities films that the people will appreciate, they will embrace, and they will have a connection with. I start with, if the film resonated with me, I believe it most likely will resonate with these different audiences. There is much more to be said about the challenges of programming for different cities and different kinds of audiences, but I hope you join us in our conversation during this week's event. Thank you.